Hello everyone, this is Dr. Schilling from Secoya Health bringing you this week's Wednesday Wellness Minutes. And this week we're going to focus on microwaves. Not just microwaves, the unit you have in your home, but also the microwave radiation that's permeating our atmosphere and our environment these days. Most people these days have a microwave in their home. It's either built in above their stove or it's on their countertop or somewhere in there. It's supposed to be one of the greatest fandangled things since chipped ice. The best thing since sliced bread, whatever you want to call it. The challenge being is that when you put something in there and you cook it in the microwave, you're irradiating the food. And I know that the science says it's non-ionizing radiation, which is what we associate with x-rays and other things. But when you think about radiating something, what you want to appreciate is when something comes out of your microwave, the DNA has now been changed. And that DNA is now unrecognizable by your body as something beneficial. So therefore, it will create what's called an allergic response, increasing all kinds of things like cytokines and leukocytes and things like that to flow through your bloodstream and attack these things because it's no longer seen as food and beneficial, it's seen as an attacking foreign invader. How is that damaging to you? Well, when you heat something in a microwave, the water molecules are heated up. They're created friction by those microwave radiations, and that creates heat. That denatures the protein, then cooks the food, and that's why it comes out steaming hot. Tastes great, probably. Sometimes not. Depends. But what we want to appreciate is once it's been irradiated, it's no longer good. It increases your free radical damage to your body. Whatever's been produced in the microwave comes out. It's now floating around your body, wreaking havoc, kind of like the Tasmanian devil who spins around and just breaks a bunch of stuff. Think about that when you're thinking of using a microwave. Also, you want to appreciate that the minerals and the enzymes have now basically been wiped out. Anytime you heat something, you're wiping out the minerals and the enzymes. But when it's a microwave, it's a short blast of energy for a minute or 3 or 4 or 5, depending on what you're cooking. Maybe it's a bag of rice, maybe 10, I don't know. Just depends on what you're cooking. You understand that the amount of intense energy going into that at one period of time is going to be damaging that. It's been estimated that living now, we're exposed to 100 trillion times more microwave radiation than our grandparents were. Just 2 generations removed, 100 trillion times more, given cell phone towers, microwaves, and things like that. You want to be appreciative of the burden it has on our bodies. Also, the older units have leakage issues. The recent ones do not have that many issues, but when you look at the older units, they tend to be thought of as having a 20-foot radius as far as the radiation leakage, depending on how old they are. They supposedly do more stringent testing now, but keep in mind that there's still hazards as far as it leaking out once you have it on. Moving now to cell phones. If you think about a tower, that information, that microwave radiation, which is actually a high-frequency radio wave. So the radio waves that float through the air and come through a radio and plays music, those are low frequency. Microwave radiation is high-frequency radio waves, which is much more penetrating to your body and things like that. These can travel up to 45 plus miles across flat terrain. You can imagine something small and powerful that's sending something to a signal 45 miles away, how much that could be penetrating your head. To the extent that the World Health Organization has considered it in their group of 2B carcinogens, the Class B, Class 2B, that grouping. What you want to appreciate is that they have a causative causal relationship with potential cancer-causing issues with cell phones. Of course, it's a new technology, so they don't have any longitudinal or long-term studies, but you want to be aware that these are damaging technologies, and they could potentially be hurting you. So how do we avoid these things? Well, first of all, you want to be aware of how it's affecting you. Are you getting headaches? Are you experiencing infertility? Are you having hormonal imbalances? Are you having birth defects with a child? Is cancer developing? People have been purported to have tumors in their head develop from cell phone use on one side of their head constantly. It just depends on who you are. Some people complain of memory loss. It just depends on what your symptom is. Also understand that there are ways to minimize it. Going hands-free, setting it on speaker, setting it down, using either a corded or a Bluetooth headset, but those are a different type of radiation we won't go into now. Talking for a shorter period of time, or using a landline. Those are all pretty simple ways you can minimize your exposure to cell radiation. We will talk to you about some point technology called Vastu balancing, which is energy balancing your home, which will sort of create a little capsule of energy and protect you from the outside effects of cell radiation, because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of how much you're getting exposed to it. So keep that in mind. Quick recap, going hands-free rather, talking for less period of time, using some type of either corded or uncorded headset. You can use landline, things like that. Those are all going to minimize your exposure. And as well as, of course, we want to go back to our initial point, which was stay away from microwave. There are all kinds of people out there on the internet. You can read all about them. They're hotheads, and they say, oh, you're crazy for not using a microwave. I used mine for 25 plus years, and I've never had a problem. Well, you generally speaking, look at their health and look at how they're living and it'll give you a good indication of what's going in their body, because what goes on the outside is indicative of what's going on the inside. So keep these in mind as far as reducing your exposure to microwave radiation, whether it be from a cell phone or from a microwave itself where you cook your food. Generally speaking, if you could put it in a pan, slightly heat it, warm it, not heat it, warm it on a stove, it's a much better option. I know nobody likes to eat cold food for lunch, however, the alternative is not that great, considering the exposure you're going to experience as far as free radicals, potential gender bending, the hormone modifying chemicals that come off the plastics, and even if you're using glass, there's still going to be effects of the radiation. Therefore, please feel free to share this with your friends and family so that they can understand the effects of microwave, not just from the unit on their body, but also their cell phones and things like that. And we look forward to seeing you next week for next week's Wednesday Wellness Minutes.